Hey, what's going on there today, rock stars? This is Mr. Muscarella coming at you, and for this video, we are checking out how to convert from general form to standard form for circles. Now, with that, we've got to make sure we understand what each one of these forms are. So, knowing those forms is critical. Now, for standard form, we've got this equation, the x minus h quantity squared plus the y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. And the general form, of course, is ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. Now here's something I want you to pay attention to. There's going to be this pattern going on. And I want you to see if you can pick up this pattern between the relationship of the center of the circle, the coordinates for the center, and that relationship with the C term and the D term in the general form. Alright, so let's take a look at our first example here. So here we are. We've got this example where it says convert the equation of a given circle to standard form. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y plus 8 equals 0. So what I want to do is I want to get it into the standard form of x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Now there's a technique that we're going to have to use called completing the square, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But one of the first things that you're going to do, you're going to take your x terms and group them together. You're going to take your y terms and group them together. But then the constant, the 8 in this case, we're going to move that to the other side. So when we do that, that's going to look like this. Of x squared minus 4x plus y squared minus 6y equals negative 8. Now here's where the completing the square part comes in. And this is where you have to be really super careful. For the x terms, what you have to do is think, what's half of negative 4? So half of negative 4 is just negative 2. Now when I square that, I get the value of 4. We're going to do the same thing for looking at negative 6. So I'm going to take half of negative 6, same kind of idea, and what I'm going to do is square that as well. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. When you square negative 3, you end up with 9. Now that is completing the square, and we're going to take a look at that here in our next step. So I've got to add 4 and add 9 onto both sides of my equation. When I have this, now I'm going to go ahead and take this and write this in a little bit more simplified form. The x squared minus 4x plus 4, that's going to become x minus 2 quantity squared. And then the y squared minus 6x plus 9, that's just going to become y minus 3 quantity squared. Now two things I want you to pay attention to on those. For the x minus 2, see how that part's in parentheses? What's half of negative 4? Well, you have negative 2, and that's why you end up with x minus 2. What's half of negative 6? Well, that was negative 3. So that's one way to kind of remember that a little bit. Now on the right hand side, when you combine negative 8, 4, and 9, you end up with positive 5. Alright, so this is our final answer here. Here's our equation in standard form. We've got it in the HK format. So check this out though. What I want you to do is, when we take a look at our center, 2, 3, and our radius, we would just square root 5 to get our radius. But what I want you to do is pay attention to the cx plus dy terms from the beginning, which in this case were just minus 4x and minus 6y. What's the relationship between my cx and dy terms from my original and the center of the circle? There's a pattern there, and I bet you could probably figure it out. Now, if you think you got this down, what I want you to do is go ahead and do the next example totally on your own. So go ahead and hit pause, and then when you're ready, come on back, check it out, and let's make sure that you got it right. And I want you to see if you can pay attention to the pattern that's going on with the cx and the dy terms. See if you can use that to maybe help you double check what your center is on this. Alright there, rock stars, how'd you do? Did you end up with that x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 5 quantity squared equals 9? If you did, booyah, give yourself a pat on the back. If you did not, go back and see if you can determine where you went wrong. It's probably in your arithmetic. Now with that equation, let's check out our cx and dy terms from our original starting equation from the problem, and let's see if that pattern holds that you think you saw before. So we have the negative 4x plus 10y. Our center is at 2, negative 5. Is that pattern the same one you thought you saw before? I bet it is. By now, I think you got this pattern down. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, and I will catch up with you guys later on. You have a great day, and rock on. Peace out.